Welcome to Mysteries and Crime, where shadows of power, money, and silence unravel in real time. Tonight, we examine the explosive case of Sean Diddy Combs, now facing federal sex trafficking charges in the U.S. Clue question: could years of fame and fortune have masked a criminal empire? The year is 2025, and Sean Diddy Combs, a mogul of music and wealth, is under federal indictment for alleged human trafficking. Prosecutors say he facilitated the movement and exploitation of women over state lines, under the guise of glamour, A-list parties, secret contracts, and now public exposure. It started as whispers in 2023, civil lawsuits, closed-door settlements, and rumors. But on April 4th, 2025, those whispers turned to thunder. Federal prosecutors unsealed a new indictment, formally charging Sean Combs with multiple counts of sex trafficking, prostitution, and coercion. According to the indictment, Combs orchestrated a years-long operation that allegedly exploited vulnerable women, using his music label, private parties, and international travel circuits. One of the key witnesses is Cassie Ventura, a former musical protege and romantic partner of Combs. According to reports from People and Reuters, she is prepared to testify that she was transported across state lines under manipulation and threat, and that her identity was used to recruit other women. The indictment describes private jets, cash payments, controlled environments, and forced encounters with powerful individuals. Authorities claim Combs knowingly participated and benefited from the operation. In response, Combs' legal team released a statement calling the charges outrageous and completely unfounded, stating that he denies all allegations and intends to fight them aggressively in court. Still, the public reaction was immediate. His brands distanced themselves, partners pulled out, and Diddy found himself no longer in control of the narrative. At the heart of this case are the voices long silenced. One of the most pivotal is Cassie Ventura, an R&B singer who rose to fame in the mid-2000s under Diddy's mentorship. In her civil lawsuit filed in late 2023, she alleged years of physical abuse, forced travel, coercion, and control. She described being groomed, trafficked across multiple states, and introduced into elite circles where she was, in her words, no longer seen as a person, but property. According to court filings and investigative reports, at least 5 other unnamed women have since come forward. Their accounts bear eerie similarities. Young, ambitious women lured by the promise of stardom, only to find themselves allegedly isolated, manipulated, and sexually exploited under pressure. One accuser, known only as Jane Doe 2, described a party in Miami where security locked the doors, phones were taken, and women were chosen. She alleged that Diddy watched coordinated interactions and offered money to silence them afterward. Another victim claimed she was flown from Los Angeles to New York in 2022 under the promise of a modeling contract, only to be allegedly assaulted and told, "You belong to the brand now." Many victims cite mental health struggles, PTSD, and ongoing fear. Several requested federal witness protection due to threats. While identities remain sealed for safety, their stories now carry national weight. At the center stands Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, entrepreneur, rapper, producer, and cultural icon. With a reported net worth exceeding $900 million, his influence has shaped decades of music, fashion, and nightlife. But prosecutors now allege he used that power for darker purposes, The federal indictment describes Combs as the coordinator and financier of a commercial sex trafficking enterprise. His properties in Los Angeles, Miami, and the Bahamas are named in legal documents as alleged sites of coercion and trafficking. Combs is accused of deploying employees and associates to manage logistics, booking flights, paying victims, and securing private venues. Some of those named include bodyguards, event planners, and personal assistants, though no additional indictments have been filed against them. Yet, prosecutors allege Combs created a network with internal rules requiring women to meet specific demands and face retaliation if they refused. According to USA Today, one document referred to the system as the program, with alleged quotas, punishments, and rewards. Combs has denied all involvement, stating through legal counsel, "These allegations are false, malicious, and part of a larger pattern to damage Mr. Combs' legacy." His legal team argues the accusers are financially motivated and that their relationships were consensual. Still, with multiple women stepping forward and corroborating each other's accounts, law enforcement believes otherwise. As federal investigations widen, others close to Combs may soon face scrutiny. Because in a case like this, silence can be complicity. According to the newly unsealed federal indictment, the alleged crimes committed by Sean Diddy Combs span over a decade, unfolding across luxury homes, chartered jets, high-end hotels, and industry events cloaked in celebrity. The document alleges that Combs used his vast network of assistants, bodyguards, and industry contacts to systematically traffic women for sex, recruiting them under the guise of music, modeling, or brand partnerships. Several victims stated they were first approached by Combs himself, or individuals acting on his behalf, during events in cities like Miami, New York, and Los Angeles. One woman testified that she was invited to a rooftop party, only to be driven to a private mansion, stripped of her phone, and told to obey or risk being blacklisted from the music industry. Inside these spaces, the accounts grow even darker. Victims describe being drugged, isolated, and forced into sexual situations with guests, some of whom were allegedly powerful figures in entertainment and business. Security teams reportedly monitored their movements, and some properties were equipped with one-way glass, locks controlled from outside, and surveillance cameras placed in bedrooms. At one location in Los Angeles, a victim described soundproof rooms with dim red lighting. At another, a witness claimed she saw a woman attempt to leave, only to be physically restrained by staff and escorted back inside. One of the most disturbing pieces of evidence includes text messages and voice recordings obtained through subpoenas. In one voice note, allegedly from Combs, he reportedly says, "They know what this is, they don't say no, not if they want to stay in the game." Prosecutors claim Combs financially rewarded compliance, providing gifts, cash, or opportunities to those who participated, and punishing resistance with public humiliation, industry blacklisting, or even physical threats. Cassie Ventura, in her earlier civil filing, alleged that she was subjected to forced sexual encounters, surveillance, and violent outbursts. She stated that she feared for her safety daily, and that leaving the relationship was like escaping a cult. Court documents reveal that Combs allegedly paid hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years in hush money and NDAs, many of which are now being challenged or voided as part of the federal case. Perhaps most chilling are the photographs and travel logs Prosecutors say they have documented dozens of flights taken by alleged victims, often unaccompanied, booked last minute, and always under a private account registered to Combs's businesses. One lead investigator stated, "This was not accidental. This was not careless. It was calculated. It was controlled." The allegations paint a portrait not just of abuse, but of a system designed to protect power and exploit silence. As the evidence mounts, so do the questions. How many knew, and how far did it go? The investigation into Sean Combs began quietly, but swiftly escalated into a federal-level operation. In late 2023, following Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, the Department of Justice initiated a multi-agency task force, including the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, and state-level prosecutors from New York and California. Agents focused on unsealing confidential settlements, reviewing past accusations, and tracking victim movements through flight records and hotel bookings. The turning point came when multiple NDA-covered witnesses agreed to testify, providing texts, emails, and first-hand accounts. One former employee even handed over a discarded hard drive from a Combs-owned property, allegedly containing surveillance footage and encrypted communications. Federal agents executed search warrants at multiple Combs properties, seizing electronics, travel manifests, and security logs. The strategy was clear: follow the money, trace the flights, and protect the survivors. Despite powerful testimony, investigators faced major hurdles in collecting solid forensic evidence. Much of the alleged activity occurred in private residences, VIP suites, and international waters, limiting jurisdiction and forensic access. Additionally, devices had been wiped, rooms deep cleaned, and camera systems either disabled or looped. Some digital files recovered were corrupted. Others were hidden under layers of encryption, requiring cyber forensics teams to reconstruct fragments from backup servers, discarded phones, and internal cloud accounts. What investigators did find were partial fingerprints, time-stamped photographs, and metadata confirming victims' presence at certain locations tied to Combs. Though not always direct proof of abuse, the digital trails aligned with witness timelines, helping prosecutors build a pattern of coercion, manipulation, and control. As one federal prosecutor told NPR, "The physical evidence may be buried, but the digital footprints never lie." The public fallout from the Combs allegations has been seismic. Once considered a hip-hop mogul and business genius, Diddy's brand imploded almost overnight. Fans voiced outrage and heartbreak. Survivors across social media began sharing personal stories using hashtags like Surviving Diddy and Believe Her. Prominent artists, including former collaborators, began distancing themselves. Some pulled their music from streaming platforms connected to his label. Combs' former business ventures, Ciroc, Revolt TV, and Sean John, all faced immense pressure, with some advertisers and investors backing out. Public trust wasn't just shaken, it was shattered. Major media outlets have covered the unfolding case in wall-to-wall fashion. BBC, Reuters, The New York Times, USA Today, and People magazine all released detailed breakdowns of the charges and victim accounts. Documentary filmmakers have already begun compiling interviews for a potential investigative series. Meanwhile, entertainment tabloids circulated leaked court documents, fueling speculation and, in some cases, misinformation. Talk shows and podcasts debated Diddy's downfall, while legal analysts predicted this case could set new precedents for celebrity accountability in trafficking cases. But amid the headlines, one theme emerged again and again. No star is untouchable. As the charges mount, so do the theories, both inside the courtroom and across public discourse. Some believe Sean Combs acted as a central orchestrator, maintaining control through fear, wealth, and isolation. Prosecutors have implied this structure operated like a criminal enterprise, complete with handlers, recruiters, and loyal enforcers. Others point to a culture of silence within the industry, where insiders may have witnessed disturbing behavior but stayed quiet to protect careers. Legal analysts speculate whether additional names may surface, as victims have referenced unnamed celebrities, producers, and executives in sealed testimony. There's also a growing theory that the system surrounding Combs enabled his actions, questioning whether bodyguards, publicists, and even legal advisors helped cover tracks. While only Combs faces formal charges for now, investigators have hinted the case is far from closed, and the entertainment world is holding its breath. As of April 2025, Sean Combs has been indicted but not yet tried. His arraignment was held in New York federal court, where he pleaded not guilty to all charges. Bail was granted under strict conditions: house arrest at one residence, electronic monitoring, and a ban on contacting witnesses or co-defendants. The trial is expected to begin in late summer of 2025, with Cassie Ventura anticipated as the prosecution's key witness. Federal prosecutors have described the case as multi-layered, with substantial digital and testimonial evidence. Combs' legal team is preparing an aggressive defense, claiming the case is rooted in opportunism and manufactured narratives. Still, if convicted, Combs could face decades in prison, along with forfeiture of assets linked to the trafficking enterprise. The trial promises to be one of the most closely watched celebrity legal battles in decades, and the verdict could reshape more than just a legacy. As the trial approaches, many questions remain unanswered. How deep did the network go? Were other powerful names involved and protected? And perhaps most haunting, how many more victims have yet to come forward? Prosecutors believe more witnesses will emerge in the months ahead. Advocates say this case could become a watershed moment, not just for justice, but for exposing how fame and influence can shield exploitation. One thing is certain: this is no longer about music or moguls. It's about power, silence, and accountability. And for many watching, this case is far from over. The Combs case has reignited global conversations on sex trafficking, industry complicity, and survivor advocacy. Lawmakers are already proposing new protections for victims in entertainment contracts. Activist groups have launched awareness campaigns targeting exploitation in music, nightlife, and modeling. And for the public, there's been a cultural reckoning, because when allegations this serious reach the top, it forces a question we can't ignore. How long has this been happening, and who else knew? What are your thoughts on the Sean Diddy Combs case? Could a different turn of events have changed everything? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more unfolding cases, and don't miss next week's deep dive. As always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.